Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a story that honestly left my jaw on the floor. Imagine this. You've been saving up for months, maybe even years, for that dream vacation with your partner. You're picturing the sandy beaches, the exotic food, the incredible memories you'll make together. Then, out of the blue, you get a text that shatters that entire dream. The title of this one says it all. My girlfriend texted, "I'm using our vacation fund to bail my ex out of jail." Yeah, you heard that right. So, grab your snacks, get comfortable, because we need to unpack this roller coaster of a story. Let's get right into it. The original poster, let's call him Mark, starts by giving us some background. He and his girlfriend, we'll call her Sarah, have been together for 3 years. They live together, and things seem to be going pretty well. Like many couples, they decided to set up a joint savings account specifically for a big trip, their goal, a 2-week adventure in Japan. They'd been meticulously putting money aside every month, watching the balance grow, getting more and more excited as their goal got closer. For Mark, this wasn't just a vacation. It was a symbol of their future together, a reward for all their hard work. They were just a few $100s shy of their target, and they had already started looking at flights and hotels. The excitement was real. Then came the text message. Mark was at work, having a pretty normal day, when his phone buzzed. It was from Sarah. The message read, "Hey, something urgent came up. I had to take the money from our vacation fund. I'll explain later." As you can imagine, Mark's heart sank. He immediately thought of a family emergency. Maybe her parents needed help, or there was a medical issue. He texted back, "Is everything okay? What happened?" His mind was racing through all the worst-case scenarios. He tried calling her, but it went straight to voicemail. The lack of an immediate response just made his anxiety skyrocket. He spent the next hour in a state of panic, unable to focus on his work, just staring at his phone, waiting for it to light up with an explanation. Finally, another text came through. This is the one that changed everything. It said, "Don't be mad. My ex Kevin got arrested last night. He called me from jail. He needed bail money, and I was the only one he could ask. I used the Japan fund to get him out. I promise I'll pay it back." Mark said he had to read the message 3 times to make sure he wasn't hallucinating. Matt didn't even begin to cover it. He was furious, confused, and felt completely betrayed. Her ex, the guy she supposedly hadn't spoken to in over a year. He immediately checked their joint account online, and sure enough, it was practically empty. 3 years of saving, gone in an instant. For her ex-boyfriend, Mark left work early, telling his boss he had a family emergency, which at this point it felt like one. The whole drive home he was trying to process the situation. Why would she do this? Why didn't she even talk to him first? It wasn't just about the money. It was the complete disregard for him, for their relationship, for their shared goals. He felt like a total fool. He had trusted her completely, and she had gone behind his back to help the man she was with before him. When he got home, Sarah was there, sitting on the couch, looking upset. He said the first thing he asked her was simply, "Why?" Sarah's explanation was, in Mark's words, a mess of excuses. She claimed Kevin had no one else. His family lived out of state, and his friends weren't picking up. She said he sounded desperate and scared on the phone, and she just felt like she had to help him. She kept repeating, "He's not a bad person, he just makes stupid mistakes." She insisted it was a one-time thing and that Kevin promised to pay her back as soon as possible. When Mark pressed her on why Kevin was arrested, she got defensive, saying it was just a misunderstanding involving a bar fight. A misunderstanding that required thousands of dollars in bail money. She couldn't seem to grasp why Mark was so devastated. She kept saying, "It's just money, we can save it again. A person's freedom is more important." This is where Mark really lost it. He told her, "It's not just money, Sarah. It was, oh, you are money. It was our future, our dream that you just gave away to your ex-boyfriend without even a conversation." He brought up the fact that this ex, Kevin, was the same guy who, according to her own stories, had been unreliable and had caused her a lot of heartache in the past. Why was he suddenly her responsibility? The argument escalated. Mark felt a deep sense of betrayal, not just financially but emotionally. The trust he had in her was shattered. How could he ever look at their relationship the same way? Every time he'd look at her, he'd be reminded of how icily she prioritized her ex over him and their shared life. He felt like he was second place in his own relationship. Sarah started crying, accusing Mark of being selfish and uncaring. She said she thought he would understand, that he would support her in helping someone in need. But Mark pointed out the obvious. There is a difference between helping someone in need and draining our life savings for your ex-boyfriend who got into a bar fight. The conversation went in circles for hours. Sarah couldn't see the depth of her betrayal, and Mark couldn't see a way past it. The more they talked, the more he realized they had fundamentally different values when it came to loyalty and partnership. For her, an old emotional tie to an ex was enough to override her commitment to him. For him, that was an unforgivable breach of trust. So, Mark did something he never thought he'd do. He told her he needed space. He packed a bag and went to stay at his friend S' place for a few days to clear his head. He explained in his post that he loves her, but he doesn't know if he can get over this. The foundation of their relationship feels broken. He's not even thinking about the vacation anymore. He's questioning the entire 3 years they've spent together. He asked the Reddit community for advice. Is this something a relationship can recover from? Is he overreacting, or is this a deal breaker? The comments section, as you can imagine, absolutely exploded with opinions. The overwhelming majority of people told him to run. They pointed out that her loyalty is clearly still with her ex, and the fact that she didn't even discuss it with Mark first is a massive red flag. One commenter wrote, "She didn't ask for your permission because she knew you'd say no. She made a conscious choice to prioritize him over you. That's not a mistake, that's a choice." Another pointed out the financial aspect, saying, "You will never see that money again. Her ex is not going to pay it back, and now you're out 3 years of savings because of her poor judgment." People were also highly suspicious of her continued connection to her ex. The idea that he'd recall her as his one and only lifeline after all this time seemed unlikely, unless they had been maintaining some level of contact that Mark was unaware of. The general consensus was that this wasn't just about money. It was a symptom of a much larger problem in their relationship. Her emotional ties to her past were stronger than her commitment to her present and future with Mark. In an update, Mark shared that after a few days of no contact, Sarah started bombarding him with texts and calls, apologizing profusely. She said she realized she made a horrible mistake and that she was wrong. She promised to get the money back from Kevin, even if she had to take on a second job to repay the fund herself. She begged him to come home and talk. Mark, however, was still reeling. He told her he needed more time. He spoke with his parents and friends, who all echoed the sentiments from Reddit, advising him to be very careful. They reminded him that trust, once broken so severely, is incredibly difficult to rebuild. He is now faced with a heartbreaking decision. Does he believe she can change and try to salvage the relationship, or does he cut his losses and walk away from the woman he thought he was going to spend his life with? What a terrible situation to be in. The line between compassion and betrayal can sometimes be blurry, but in this case, it seems pretty clear. Draining a joint savings account meant for a shared future to bail out an ex is a massive violation of trust. What do you guys think? Is there any coming back from this? Could you ever trust your partner again after something like this? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I read every single one. This was a heavy one, for sure. Thank you so much for hanging out and listening. If you enjoyed the story, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content just like this. It really helps out the channel. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you all in the next video.